September the 16th, and I really think we're going to be, planting our flag this year. The writing room has matured, and even though they're, some of them are 20 years my junior,
I know.
which is a
Did
good
you hate
thing.
that?
Right? Let them carry the ball for a bit, and I'll read the cue cards. But I think because this year we started writing the monologues first, rather than sort of, flying without a parachute before we step on stage, which is the way we've done it the first 2 years. And that's helped us structure the shows thematically, which I think gives it a real strong backbone,
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, too, I went on the road this year with my road odes, where last year I sent a crew out. This year I'm on location everywhere from Charlottetown to Kelowna to Banff to Kingston, And so, and we're trying to embrace as much as we can with the time schedule we have from, coast to coast. But that's kind of an embrace of people and place and just hanging with the Volk, right? Talking to waitresses and bartenders and people on the street and trying to get a feel for what it is that makes the country tick.
And which is not an easy task to do because it's a disparate nation in which we live.
It is, sir.
Yeah,
and it's, we identify ourselves regionally, and within those regions there's, microcosms and microcosms, right? I mean, but that's one of the fascinating things with the country. And it's what makes it exotic, really. And I know some people like to paint us as beige, but that couldn't be further from the truth, right?
No, you're right. And you know what?
All you got to do is be drinking for free north of the tree line when the caribou are moving, and otherwise.
I got to write that down on my bucket list. Ron James is my guest in studio. We have a great package that your folks have given us to give away to somebody. A VIP package, which is a guided tour through the studio facilities with a member of the production team. Personally autographed.
Closely followed by CBC security, right? You'll be scanned.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And you'll be asked for a donation for the Mother Corp. A personally autographed Ron James DVD, preferred seating, and a meet and greet.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah, it'd be great. It's I've sort of built the career from the grassroots up. A step at a time. And I think that our decision to do that kind of reflects that, and people dig seeing the show shot, and they like seeing the backstage stuff, and then we wrap afterwards, and so that's cool, and anything that can give the people a sense of affinity with the show, just beyond something they see on television, is all right by me.
Well, see, that's the thing about you. You're such a grounded guy, right? I mean, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that. Well, you're an East Coaster to begin with.
I certainly am.
That makes it easier.
Yeah, it helps,
You're not carrying the attitude around with you.
I've got my father's, voice in my ear. Don't be getting a big head, Ronnie. I'll drop you. So it's one of those things. But Canada developing the career in this country. You've got 32 million people, right? And I may have said it last year on the show. I'm not sure, and correct me if I'm repeating myself, but. When you've got a country south of the border the size of the States with 350 million people, Dennis Miller can pick a side and still have 150 million people following him. And Bill Maher can pick a side and still have 150 million people following him. Jeff Foxworthy can play every place but Los Angeles and New York and have a very, lucrative career. And there's all kinds of demographics and audiences that you can find to follow you in a nation that size. Where I think in Canada, you have to be creative how you rock the boat, especially with, we've got such a deference for authority here, right? That the rebel voice really isn't something that's synonymous with this country. I mean, they hung the last rebel we had 137 years ago, Louis Riel,
yes,
and the Fed still haven't pardoned the guy. Whether it's Liberals or Tories that are running the show in Ottawa, I mean, he was a voice of dissension, right? And so. I think that's why, some of my brothers and sisters in the comedy trenches crossed the pond to England or went to the States, was to, expand their rebel voice a little louder, have the howl a little louder. But for my money and for how I structured it, you just have to be prepared for the surprises, you still have to honor the form and rock the apple cart, but, if you're going to be playing the Windspear Center, and there's 2,000 people in the Windspear Center, and you call it Petro-Canistan in Edmonton, the loudest thing a comedian's going to hear is 2,000 people going quiet at once. But